Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What aspects of culture does Islam reject, and what aspects of culture are accepted in Islam?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is a very good, a very big, huge question. And it's a question that I've been asking myself all these years. Interesting question. Let me try to remember asking our Shaykh for himmat to be able to answer this. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The first and the only religion that came to this world is Islam. Islam is the same religion that has been brought down to all prophets throughout history. When these prophets brought down Islam, maybe in different words, different languages, definitely. After they have passed, the messages get changed. Some get corrupted, some deviated. But everything is coming from one. Which means that you will find traces of haqq, traces of Islam in every belief. Because the root of all beliefs is Islam. Cultures come out of groups of people that throughout history they have been led by prophets and then later supported by the kings. And every culture has Islam in it as well. And every culture also has traces in it that is not Islam. Islam, whether from all the earlier prophets or Islam according to the last prophet ﷺ. Even with the last prophet ﷺ, Islam was brought to this world in the culture of the Arabs in Hijaz, particularly in Mecca and Medina. And even in that culture of Mecca and Medina, which the Prophet ﷺ belonged to, there were many aspects of that culture, the culture that the Prophet belonged to, that is not Islamic. Burying children, for instance. Tyranny. It was also cultural to not even believe that the man who has died is going to come back again, resurrection. And the Prophet ﷺ then came, as he did with the earlier revelations, to confirm certain things and other things, to say, this is not good. This is not coming from your Lord. This is not coming from haqq. This is coming from your ego or things that you've made up. And I'm here to remind you what you have forgotten, as the Quran says over and over again. The Quran is called a reminder. So, then who decides what is Islamic or not? This is important. It's a little bit hard for us to understand this issue of culture, Islamic culture, non-Islamic culture, what Islam means in each culture now, because this is Akhir Zaman. We're not living in the time of clarity as it is during the time of the Khilafat, as far as culture is concerned. Especially we're talking about the Ottoman Caliphs. Because during the time of the Ottomans, there were specific cultures that people belonged to, and the state did not interfere into your culture or your religion. Give or take 100, 200 years before the Khilafat fell, in this age of European exploration and colonization, then this issue of culture becomes upside down. Because you have a group of people who deem themselves superior in every way. Intellectually, they have to find a reason. Spiritually, they have to find a reason also to say we're superior. That they can go to another group of people and say, either accept, or if you don't accept, we'll kill all of you, and everything you own, everything you have, we'll take. This is one extreme, as the Spanish did. Another sort of sneaky way the British did. Everyone has their own style, but this is the age where big game was going on. They were busy dividing up the whole world between themselves. Even before war was declared, they were already fighting. Okay, I'm going to take this, you take this, you take this. The entire map of the Middle East is drawn by people. Actually, not people, two people, with a pencil and a ruler, dividing up the whole area that the Ottomans have ruled for centuries with peace. There's two people drawing up that. And as Sultan Abdul Hamid Khan says, once you remove the Khalifa, once you start making Palestine, Qudus, you start to take away the rights of the Muslims there, bloodshed will continue until Qiyamah. And it's happening. Bloodshed there, entire Middle East, confusion in the entire world. So, now everyone is mixed up. Let's talk about culture first. Everyone is mixed up. There are more people speaking English in India than in Europe. Yes. People don't know where I belong to, east or west, north or south. Those who have been colonized, very difficult for them to get back up again. Even when they do, the spirit is broken. Muslims who did not want Khalifa and authority, quickly they were colonized. And only yesterday, they managed to shake off the French, the British, and those countries. They're still connected to those countries, but they're not connected to each other. And there's no more sense of a Muslim unity, of a Muslim polity, of a Muslim ummah anymore. They say, we're free, this is okay. Every Muslim country must take out its own flag. No. There's only one flag amongst the Muslim countries, that's the flag of the Holy Prophet. That flag, they've taken down, folded up, and put it away. So now the Muslims can never come together to do anything effective. When the Ottomans, coming to your question, were spreading Islam and Tasawwuf, now they are understanding that it was Sultan Mehmed Fatih who brought Islam and Tasawwuf all the way to Indonesia. Before they sent anyone there to talk about Islam or Tasawwuf, it is not like what the history books are telling us. Islam is brought by businessmen, merchants, who just to buy and sell, they happened to convert some people, and miraculously everyone became Muslim. They want to put down the Muslims, number one, making them to look greedy and dunya, and that there is no real organization, intelligence, and concerted effort by the Muslims to spread the teachings of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. If the Prophet ﷺ, in his own time, not when he was most powerful, no, he was still young. In Medina, one of his first actions was, when they invited him, to send the Nama Sharif to all the kings of the world, saying, I am the Prophet of Allah, I am bringing the last religion, accept us. accept Islam. If the Prophet was doing that at that time, don't you think throughout history the Muslim rulers would want to know what to do to spread? Now they're uncovering, they're saying there are tombs of Sahaba Kiram all the way in China, all the way in Malaysia, all the way, yes, even in the Americas. What were they doing? What were the Sahabis doing? And since that time, the Tabi'ins, how about the Tabi'ins, sending over and over again for them to come. So many for them just to be buried in these lands, so that opening the portal to paradise and opening the portal to truth, and the people, maybe not then, but maybe 100 years, maybe 500 years later, to accept Islam, as we see this phenomenon happening in this continent. So during the time of the Ottomans, when they were sending Mubaligh, those who are spreading the religion, let's say to Indonesia, or to Africa, or different parts of the world, it is the Ottoman state policy that the one who is going there must know the language, must know the history, must know the literature, must know the culture of the people, must be an expert in these fields, on top of being a hafiz, on top of being someone who is most knowledgeable in Islam and fiqh and everything, and knowing Islamic history as well, so that when they go there, they understand what the whole context is. It is not imposing. So which means, in a particular culture, what is Islamic or not, it is not for people to decide by themselves. It is not for people in power to decide by themselves. Definitely not for social media to decide by themselves. But this is something that the Khalifa himself has to be involved in, together with the Shaykhul Islam, together with the alims and the ulamas and the awliyas. So they will send to China, they will send to Africa, they will send to Asia. And certain things will be accepted and other things will not be accepted. And this is signed off by the Shaykhul Islams, because they are going to be responsible for that dunya and akhirah. But it doesn't mean that there are certain things that is accepted in China is going to be accepted in Africa. No, there are certain things in Africa that is unique to its own history, to its own culture. There are certain things in India that is unique there. You're not going to find this flat uniformity. As you see, people who think it is Islamic in these days want you to do. You're a Muslim, you have to wear this. You have to speak like this. Mostly they say you have to wear the jalabiyah, cut off at the ankles, of course. And you have to wear this, you have to do this, you have to do that according to the Arabic style. There is no one uniform Arabic style, by the way. So, the scholars, for example, that have been sent to China, and the saints that have been sent to China or to Indonesia, they will say there are certain aspects now of that culture that is Islamic, as we said earlier. They will take out those aspects, and that will be expanded. There are certain things that is against Islam in spirit and also in its practice, and those are the things that are not going to be looked at so much. Then there are some countries that they're able to carry the Shariat and the fiqh better, they'll give it to them. There are some countries that is not so much. And the saints and the awliyas and the scholars are saying it is okay for now. That is also okay. It is not for us now to judge so much. So you'll see different adherences to Islam, Islamic fiqh, or Islamic spirituality. You'll see the difference from each country, each nation. Those who are able to carry it more is given to them. Those that are not, is not. But the roots are there and it's strong, and there is always constant communication because of the Hajj, because of the Silk Road, because of everything else that will keep on feeding these new communities with what is real and what the Sultan and the Alims would want the communities to be. So, now what? Now what? Now, so many people are saying we have to have a new Islam. This is Islam in America. So we have to have, just like Islam in China, they have their own style. So we have to have our own style. But they forget that Islam in China had their own style because it was supported by the Khalifa, as supported by the Alims and the Ulamas, and supported by the Awliyas. You want this new style here in America, or in England, or in Europe, or anywhere else. Who is sanctioning this? Who is deciding? Anyone can decide. Of course, it's come to that. We don't have to have a Khalifa. That's why there is chaos now. One group is going to say this, one group is going to say that. So, without real spiritual direction, it's going to be chaos. And now, what was the last ruling Khalifa? The house of Osman, whatever they've left, so many things, it is enough for the whole nation now to hold on to until Judgment Day. And this is the best expression of how Islam, in its laws, in Islam, in its spirituality, should be practiced, and we're holding on to that. The Khilafat is veiled, but it doesn't mean that it's disappeared. It just went underground. Veiled means it's behind the veil. It is still there. So many rejecting Khalifa. So many rejecting the way of Sultan al-Awliya. Are you understanding how serious it is? As the Prophet ﷺ says, the one who dies without giving bayat to a Khalifa, he dies the death of a Jahiliyyah. We are holding on to our sheikhs, inshallah, and holding on to the sultans. May Allah keep us under the feet of the awliya Allah, for us to follow them, for us to listen and understand what is for us in these confusing times, what is the important things that we should be carrying that will help our faith in these times, and not to rely on our head or intelligence or the internet or anything else. Inshallah, with the intercession of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, Al-Fatiha. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. Tamam. This much is enough. Wa min Allahu tawfiq. Al-Fatiha.